I'm going to use factorization method to solve this quadratic equation. The same story is told in my previous lessons. You can go back and check from my channel. We were given a simultaneous equation to solve, and you said that handling a simultaneous equation, you said that you're going to use elimination method or substitution method in solving a simultaneous equation. The same method, when you come here, you are given a quadratic equation to be solved. Then you ask yourself, what method are you going to use in solving this quadratic equation? And I said, with this equation, I'm solving it with what? Factorization method. So what you are observing now is how I'm using the factorization method to find the solution to this quadratic equation. So with this, you put down, say x squared plus 7x plus 12 equal to 0. And we were taught that with this case, you are going to find factors of 12. So you use your first term, which is the a term, to multiply the c term. So 1 times 12 will give you what? 1 times 12 will give you what? 12. Then you find factors of 12. So what are the factors of 12? Which is what? 1, 2, 3, 6, and 12. Then you ask yourself, 1, 2, 3, 6, and 12. No, 4 is a factor. Yeah, 4 is a factor of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. All right. Then you ask yourself, among the factors of 12 here, this is how the method goes by factorization method. Among the factors of 12 here, which of the numbers, when you add, it will be the same, or it will give you the middle term, and the same number when you multiply, it will give you the last term. So you go through the factors. Which of the numbers, which when you add, it will give you the middle term, the same number, which when you multiply, it will give you the last term. And watch it. If I pick 2 and 6 as my magic number, let's see whether the 2 and 6 will be my magic number. Because if the number is magic, meaning the number should satisfy the middle term and at the same time satisfy the last term. That is why we call the number as magic. So let's see whether 2 and 6 can be my magic number, even though the 2 and 6 is coming from the factors. Let's see whether we can call that number as magic. Okay, so I'm picking 2 and 6. 2 plus 6 will give me what? 8. 2 minus 6 will give me negative what? 4. So meaning 2 and 6 is not even satisfying the middle term. Then you ignore the numbers and you go back for another number. Let me pick 3 and 4. 3 plus 4 will give me what? 7. Let's see whether if I will be able to call the 3 and 4 as my magic number, meaning the numbers should satisfy the middle term and at the same time should satisfy the last term. So let's see. 3 plus 4 will give me 7. Very good. 3 times 4 will give me 12. Then in that case, then 3 and 4 becomes my magic number. Meaning I'm going to use 3 and 4 to substitute to replace the 7x. So in that sense, the whole equation, you go back and rewrite the equation again by saying x squared plus, you said you are replacing this middle term with 3 and 4. So you said 3x plus 4x, and it is true. When I add this, it's the same as 7x. So 3x plus 4x plus what? 12 is equal to 0. So it tells you that this 3 and 4 can satisfy the middle term. Very good. So from here, let's see the concept of factorization here. Now we've gotten 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are asked to factorize. Then what you are going to do is you are using a method called method under factorization. You are going to use a method called method by what? Grouping. Grouping, meaning you are going to group the first 2 terms. So I've grouped the first 2 terms, meaning I'm also going to group the last 2 terms. So this is the last 2 terms. The last 2 terms is what? 4x plus 12 equal to 0. So from here, now we can now what? Factorize. The idea of factorization is finding the common element and you factorize that element out. So we could see that x is common to the first term and the second term. So I will kick the x out, meaning it is left with 1x, because here was 2. And I'll factorize 1 out, so meaning it is left with 1 of the x. And I'll factorize this x out, it will be left with 3 plus. Watch it, the same idea you use in solving this, the same idea you are going to use in handling, in factorizing this. So you find x is here, but x is not here, but check the numbers. 4 can go into 12, meaning 4 is common here. 4 can go into 12, meaning 4 is common, so you factorize 4 out. Bracket open, x plus. So 4 here goes into 12, how many times? 3. Equal to 0. Very good, so we take a look. So from here, then after factorizing, then you could see that still there is another factorization. What you do, there are so many ways of handling this. You could see that x plus 3 is common to this term and at the same time common to this term. You can choose to factorize that x plus 3 out. So because x plus 3 is here and at the same time is here, you can do another factorization by factorizing 4 plus 3, x plus 3 out. And what is left? It is left with x and 4. Then you put that one also in the brackets, equated to 0. Alright, so from here, which is one may choose to consider the scalars. When I pick this bracket, the scalar here is x. When I pick this bracket, the scalar here is 4. So you put the scalars in one bracket like this. Then you could see that x plus 1 is common here and at the same time can be seen here. Then you pick one of them, you form your factors. So this becomes the factors of this quadratic equation, and it is true. The reason why these are the factors of this quadratic equation because 3 plus 4 is satisfying what? And when you expand this, you are going to get this one back. When you expand this binomial, you are going to get this one back. In that case, then this becomes a factor of this quadratic equation. And we want to find the roots of the quadratic. The number we use in forming this quadratic is called root of the quadratic. So if I want to find the root of the quadratic, then it's going to be either the first factor. And what is the first factor here? The first factor is x plus 3. X plus 3, then we equate it to what? 0. So in that case, if here was 7, then it's going to be x plus 3 equated to what number here? 7. Okay, good. With our case here, the factors has been equated to what? 0. So it's either the first factor, which is x plus 3 equated to 0, then you solve for x. So your x is equal to negative 3. Or means we have another factor here. Or the second factor, which is x plus 4, is also equated to, if here is equated to 0, meaning these two, this one should also be equated to 0 here. And this is what I have done. So x plus 4 is also equated to 0, then x becomes negative 4. So the critical values here is s is such that it's either x is equal to negative 3 or negative 4. So meaning these are the two raw numbers. These are the two raw numbers that can satisfy this. If I say that these are the two raw numbers that can satisfy this, what I mean here is when you substitute negative 3 into this equation, the whole of here will turn 0, meaning it can satisfy the equation. In that case, it means if it can satisfy it, meaning the left should be equal to the right here. And it is true. If I put in negative 3 in the values of x here, everything here will turn 0. will give us a 0 here. The same thing applies to when I put in -4 into the original equation given. Everything here should give us 0. So it tells that the critical values that can make this solution, make this equation possible is only -3 and -4. -3 and -4. Thank you very much for having time with me. Now remember, do well to subscribe. And for those who are learning the quadratic equation for the first time, those who are learning quadratic equation for the first time, to my advice, and if you will stick to my advice, please, after going through the video, you pause the video, try if the video can be of help to you. With the help of this, I hope and God, things will be okay for you. So this is the how to solve quadratic equation for the first time. In my next part, which is the same episode 3, part 2, I'm using calculator in solving the second type of quadratic equation. I'm going to show you how the calculator can help you to find these factors, to form this expression, the 4 terms, to form the 4 terms. I'm going to teach you how to use the calculator in forming the 4 terms here. Thank you very much for having time with me. Enjoy your day. Bye bye. チャンネル登録してほしい。チャンネル登録待ってるよ。チャンネル登録してほしい。